Well, got my first load of steel. First piece. Well, got the rest of the steel in. Of course, this is going to be the frame. It's a 30-pound, 12-inch channel. Here's a bunch of, this is actually going to be a fuel tank, but it's a bunch of it is drops. Alright, ceremonial first cut. This is going to be the very back piece of the driver's side frame. Alright. Anyway, I'm done for the day actually, but my next thing is I'm going to cut the other one of those out of that 40-footer, or 30-footer now. And then I'm going to lay out all the bolt holes for the rear axles. There's the front spring mount, airbag mount, the track bar mount. And I want to talk about the different types of welding I'm going to use in this build, in this coach. The two kinds that I'm going to use are MIG and stick. I'm going to use two types of MIG wire. This here is called dual shield. It's a flux cord wire that you run with gas, and it is a spray arc type. I don't know what you call it. The deposition of the wire is a spray arc, not a short circuit. The other type of wire, I don't have any in front of me here, is the typical wire that you would see in a MIG machine, and that's referred to, the slang is called hard wire. Both wire sizes will be 0.45. Anyway, I'm going to weld my fuel tank inside with dual shield. I'm going to weld the outside with 7018. I'm going to weld all the structure that's of high tensile, that's of high, what am I trying to say? The load is going to be high. It's going to be under a high tensile load. Is all going to be welded inside out with 18. If I get a good enough ground out that I can get a good 70-18 pass, go all the way down there. I won't run 60-10. If the land's too big, and if it looks, if I've got too big a gap somewhere, or if I don't have any gap at all, I will run a 60-10 route and then put 17 over it. And on the structure of the actual motorhome, as far as the purlin goes, I'm going to weld all that with hard wire. So 70-18, dual shield, hard wire. I'm going to touch up the outside edges of these with a grinder. This is fresh steel, but it's got mill scale on it that needs to come off. Especially structure. If this is just structural, I wouldn't worry about it. But because it's a fluid tank, I want this to be really clean. All right. So all these measurements, I'll get you close up here later, but all these measurements are made so that the edge of the metal sits on the edge of the metal. Not like this, but like that. I don't know if you can tell what's going on. So that When I weld the outside, you can see the face of both pieces of steel. And that'll let you get in there and penetrate all the way through that so that you don't have a void between your two welds. I think I set my thumb on fire. So here's what the dual shield looks like after you weld it. The flux comes off really easy. It's not a very pretty weld, but it's fast. God dang, it'll get the heck after it. You know, this isn't a super pretty weld, but I mean, it's okay for what I'm doing. It's hot. I've consumed the whole entire edges. You know, there's a little bit of an edge there you can see. Obviously, you could put 2 or 3 passes and make this better, but I'm trying to do this fast as I can in one pass. It looks pretty good. Here's one of my tie-ins. You can kind of see it's kind of lumped up right there. But you know, I mean, the weld looks okay. It's all right. You know, using the start set. Actually, here's another tie-in. You can barely see it. But you know, it doesn't look bad. And that's a good full penetration, both sides. You know, no porosity that you can see, which is what I want. You know, I don't want any leaks. I'm going to put a 1/2-inch plug in the bottom of this fuel tank. It's upside down. This is going to be the front, bottom, driver's side. I'm going to put a 1/2-inch plug in it. It slopes towards here. This will be the lowest point. The front's the lowest point. So if it ends up with any moisture in it or whatever, I can drain it. What you got here? Not bad. Good looking threads. Already got the dual shield on the inside of this one. I'm going to weld 18 along this edge and the side, and then I'll have to get in it, but I'm not going to get in it today because I got to go to Christmas Eve, and I already had my shower for the day. Okay, this is the tank It's welded out inside with dual shield, outside with 7018. It's got a 3-inch threaded nipple sticking out of the top with a 3-inch 45. It's going to be the filler neck that comes out of the back of the coach. This is a dog leg of the frame. It's got a 6010 root pass that's been ground back out, and then it is a final pass 7018 that is actually stood up and welded out uphill. Here I'm dragging the frame out of the shop with a forklift and got them both stuck into the tank. The frame goes into the tank about 30 inches, and I welded all the way around it with 7018 for the structure. Here's a front plate that goes on the tank that the frame rails go through. It's cut out, and I get it all welded in there, and we actually pressure tested the tank to about 10 pounds. It had 2 small pinholes fixed with 6010, no big deal at all. And then here I've actually drug everything back out of the shop to sweep the shop to get ready for the next leg of the build, which will actually be framing of the coach frame itself.